What's up? So, getting ready to go deer hunting in a minute. My first hunt of the year. Super excited. Perfect weather front coming up. But anyways, I've been having this conversation with this literary agent who is referred to me by Sandra Petty, who's a big Newsweek writer, and she wrote the book. In fact, Sonny Francine's book. It's sitting right here underneath the thing. I'm not going to pull it out. But so I wanted to ask you guys this. I'm having a debate with this literary agent because I have this new novel coming out, right? And it's a long book. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get it under 500 pages, right? Because it's a very long, complex story. Anybody who's ever read my books would say, like, To Be a King, Volume 1 and 2, they would say there's no way that could have been cut shorter. You would have ruined the story. Now, as a reader myself, this is the debate I'm asking you. I'm asking you to have the debate with me. Let's say a book is 275 pages for $9.99. But it's, the story could have been a lot better had it been another 200 pages, 300 pages, because you can develop the characters a lot further. You can develop the plot a lot more. You can twist in subplot. There's a lot more you can do with the story. But the publisher want to keep printing costs down, so they want you to butcher the story down to under 300 pages, and then so they can sell it for $9.99. What I don't get, which is absolutely astonishing to me, the people who work in publishing should know this above anyone else. The average person who is actively seeking to buy and read a book, a novel, don't care about spending another $5 on a book. They have money. They have disposable income. The average person who spends money on a novel or a book, could be self-help, could be motivational, inspiration, whatever, they don't care. If it's a really good book and somebody goes, wow, I just read this amazing book, and you look at it and it's like $19.99, you're like, man. But you're only going to buy it because somebody says that's a freaking awesome book. You got to read it. Just read this amazing novel. Really? Oh, dude, it's so good. You got to read it. Just get it. So it's $19. Would you not buy it because it was $19, or would you, or if it was 14, did you go, it's $14, I'll buy it, but it's 19, so no, I won't do it. The average person who's buying a book doesn't give a shit about $5 extra. They have the money. So people who are readers typically have disposable income, and they have no problem spending a couple extra bucks on getting a great story. That's the whole purpose and the reason why people like myself buy books. We want to have a great story. So the average story, I'd say that's a great story. If we look back in time, my favorite book is this Sicilian 500-600 page book. There's a lot of Robert Ludlum books, 500-700 page books, Tom Clancy books, 500-700, John Grisham books, Sidney Sheldon. They're all the greats. I'm not talking Atlas Shrugged 1,000 pages, but I'm talking about the average great book that you remember, The Godfather, books like that. They're all 500, 600 pages. The books that you read that are 200, 250 pages, that are you don't remember them because the story's not that memorable. The characters aren't well developed. There's not that big of a complex plot or story. A great, truly remarkable story that sticks with you for, if not months or years, but a lifetime. I'd wager that 98% of the people who've read my books, To Be a King, still remember them, and it could be years. They might have read it years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. They'll tell you the whole freaking story, every character, every scene. They remember everything, right? Because I took the time to develop the story through happenstances, develop the characters through nuance, and the way they act, talk, walk, whatever. So it sticks with you. And because of that, you're like, man, this is a great book. You got to read it. It's an amazing book, amazing story. But if you read something this big and you're just like, no offense to this author, but I'm like, it's 190 pages of, it's like almost like reading a screenplay. It's not a book. It's not. And so I'm having this conversation with his agent. He's like a big Hollywood agent, right? And he's like, I can't sell a book that's over 300 pages. I said, what do you want me to write? A novella? You want a short story? I don't write like that. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't make the wheel. I don't know what I'm saying. I didn't make the wheel. I just try to sell it. I think, bro, it's your job is to go to these people and say, hey, listen, the average reader who's going to buy a book, for their budget is, they're thinking an average book should cost no more than $14.99. But if they go to a book and it's got 500 5-star reviews and everyone's going, wow, this book's freaking amazing, that reader's going to have no problem spending $19.99 to buy the book. because it's another 200-300 pages. So the publisher has to charge more for it because the printing cost is more because it's another 200-300 pages. Who cares if a book's $9.99 and sucks or a book's $19.99 and awesome? 99% of the readers are going to go, give me the awesome book. I'm here to read a great story. I want a freaking great story that attaches emotionally to my soul. I want to read an amazing epic tale that sticks with me for a lifetime. I don't want to read some bullshit, poorly written, half-assed, freaking chopped apart 200-page novella. I don't want that. I'm looking for the good book. I don't care if it's $20. I'll spend the extra money. That's the thing. My audiobook's $28. I still sell tons of it. So it's an 18-hour book. People, when they buy it, they're just like, well, at least I get my money's worth. It's 18 hours long. I have plenty of entertainment here. Then they read it and go, damn, I wish I had volume 2. Where's volume 2? Anyway, so my question is this. How many of you people who are readers, because not everybody's a reader, and a lot of people who are on YouTube aren't readers, but how many readers who are actively looking to buy a book, and if somebody says, hey, listen, dude, I just read this freaking awesome book you got to check out, it's amazing, and if you go there expecting to pay $9 or $10 or $12 or $14 for it, and then it's freaking $19, would you go, oh, well, can't do it, sorry. Is really $4 going to make or break you? It's not a mortgage, you're not buying a car. $5, so freaking what? That's a coffee at Starbucks. Nothing. So what? Bang. So, and keep in mind, the average reader is an intellectual, intelligent, educated, and usually professional person who reads. They have no $5 is nothing to them. It's like, okay, I'd be happy to spend $5 more on a better book. Trying to tell this to this freaking lunatic agent who works in publishing, he's supposed to be a professional. Like, why don't you go to the publishers and say, all the greatest books in the history of ever have all been 400, 500, 600, 700 pages. The best stories, typically, always, 100% of the time, are longer books because you can develop the characters, you can develop the story, incorporate subplot, and more of this and more of that, and more romantic interest, and blah, blah, blah. But if you got to go chop, 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 and the book's just, chapter, these little tiny chapters that are 2 pages long, and then bang, it's over in 200 pages, you're going to flip the last page, and you go, what a freaking waste of money. I spent $10 on that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? No, give them a 500-page book that shut it and go, wow. That was a good freaking story, man. I love it. I'm going to tell a friend about it. So anyways, I just wanted to share that rant that I'm going through as I'm publishing this new book. I may self-publish it still. I'm debating. I'm 50-50 on it. I could self-publish it and get to keep all the royalties, but the self-publishing is very hard to market it. And basically the way the mainstream publishers work, they have money for marketing. They're friends with all the book companies, and they basically will drown you out. You don't have a chance. So they make it so you don't. Even though, like, if I sold 500 copies of my book in pre-sales of my To Be a King, which should have made me a #1 New York Times bestseller instantly, like that. They didn't even acknowledge me in the New York Times. Of course they didn't, because it's a self-published book. Now, had I been published by Penguin, I would have been listed as the #1 New York Times bestseller for like 3 weeks. But of course I don't, because who am I? And that's how the scam works. So people who are, and then the Amazon, same thing. They don't boost the algorithm. They don't showcase my book. If it's just a self-published book, they don't put me up there. So when people search, cocaine book, my book's about cocaine smugglers, like cocaine book, my book doesn't pop in the top freaking 10 or 20 or whatever. It's like the top 20,000, you know what I'm saying? But if I went through Penguin Books or Putnam or whatever, then it would pop right up in the top 10 and boom, and I'd sell it. So I think it's a smarter and wiser move for me to publish through a mainstream publisher, which means I have to get an agent, and I have to go through an agent, and I hate agents. They're the slimiest, scummiest people, and they're also not even that smart. This agent, if he ever sees this, no offense, bro, but I mean, you're clearly not that smart. If you're such a great at acquiring stories, why wouldn't you write one? Because you can't. You don't have the talent. So what you do is you leech off of other people's talent, and you are the gatekeeper who gets to decide who's actually got talent, who doesn't. When in fact, you don't know shit. You throw a whole bunch of spaghetti against the wall, 100 authors a year, maybe 2 of them stick and sell a few, and you're like, yeah, I'm a great agent, really. And meanwhile, you pass up guys like me, like the 100 guys like me who could have made your career. You could have retired from me. You could have been the guy. You could be the guy that said, oh, I discovered Gunnar Lindblom. No, you're too stupid. You're like, I can't sell a 400-page book, 500. Why not? Then you're not a good agent. If you need to be, as an agent, you need to go directly to the publisher and say, here's the deal. Amazing book. It's 500 pages. People will spend an extra $10, $12 or $8, $6, $7 to buy a great book opposed to a shitty small book So if it's the printing costs you're worried about, just charge more for the book. The readers will happily pay for it. Boom, everybody's happy. The reader gets a great book. You get to make the same amount of money. Everybody's happy. But instead, they're like, just give me the shitty little books. We'll publish them. I mean, it's counterintuitive. It makes no freaking sense. That's all I'm saying. And agents, they're slime balls, really. They did. In fact, I would say 90% of them don't know what the F they're doing. They're just leeches who find people like me who actually have talent and ability and say, how can I make money from your talent? Which is, and then they become the gatekeepers between the other people who think, how can I make money off your talent? They're all trying to make money off of people like me, people with talent. But you got to do everything but blow them to try and get your book in front of them, right? And most of them, by the way, agents and publishers, they don't even work without referrals. Meaning, I only got to talk to this agent because Sandra Petty referred him. Sandra Petty's a Newsweek reporter, a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter. She wrote the book Sunny on Sunny Francis. She read my book, said, first thing she says, how is this not a movie? How come they haven't made this a movie? I'm like, yeah. So she told this agent, this guy, Gunner, wrote these books, To Be a King. Unbelievable. So he's like, okay, I'll listen. Tell me about you. I sent him a nice email explaining. I said, did you read it? He's like, I ain't had time. Tell me about it. It's better from you. Hear it from you. So I'm talking to him, and I can tell he ain't freaking listening. He's just a freaking typical douchebag. And as soon as I say, the book's about he's like, how long is it? It's about 500 pages. I can't sell a 500-page book. I'm like, why not? He's like, well, publishers, they don't want to. I'm like, what do they want? And he's like, I can't sell a 300-page book. What the frick are you selling? Novellas? What kind of publishers are you dealing with? What kind of publishers wouldn't want a great... every great book that I've ever read, ever in my life, and I've read hundreds, if not thousands of books, were all 400 to 700 pages. All of them. The ones that I don't remember are the ones that are like 200, 250, 300 pages. Because they suck. Because you can't develop a story in that short amount of time. You just can't. They don't get it. One day, maybe I'll start my own publishing company, and I'll do it my way, and I'll publish well-written, well-developed, stories that are 500, 600, 700, 800 long novels. And I like to laugh at all these douchebags in Madison Avenue in New York and say, yeah, I'm selling millions and millions of books while you guys are selling these stupid little novellas, to freaking people who are stupid. Every single person who buys this book's going to be like, man, why'd I waste my money on it? It's a short story. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm out. I'm going deer hunting. I'm ready to go.